The night sky above the Arecibo Observatory was unusually clear. Dr. Mark Davis peered into his monitor, rubbing his tired eyes. The anomalous readings had first appeared 3 days ago, strange objects moving at velocities that defied known physics. At first, he thought it was an equipment malfunction. "Hey, Jack, come look at this," Mark called to his colleague. Jack Williams, the senior astronomer on duty, leaned over Mark's shoulder. "Still there, huh?" "Not only still there, they're changing course. Natural objects don't do that." Within hours, observatories around the world confirmed the sightings. 7 massive objects, each roughly the size of Manhattan, were decelerating as they approached Earth's orbit. The scientific community buzzed with excitement and trepidation. At the Pentagon, military analyst Tom Reed studied the data with growing concern. The objects' movements showed clear signs of intelligence. They maintained perfect formation, while executing synchronized course corrections. "These aren't random space rocks," he explained to his superiors. "This is a coordinated approach. We're looking at vessels under intelligent control." The government tried to keep the information classified, but leaked footage from amateur astronomers spread across the internet like wildfire. By the time the objects became visible to the naked eye, 7 dark silhouettes against the moon, global panic had already set in. World leaders gathered in an emergency United Nations session. Some advocated immediate military preparation. Others insisted on peaceful first contact protocols. In the end, they agreed to attempt communication while quietly mobilizing defense forces. The first message was simple: "We welcome peaceful visitors to Earth. Please identify yourselves and state your intentions." No response came. As the alien ships entered Earth orbit, they spread out, positioning themselves above major population centers: New York, Beijing, Moscow, London, Tokyo, New Delhi, and Rio de Janeiro. Their design defied human architectural logic: massive crystalline structures that seemed to shimmer and shift when viewed directly. Tom Reed was brought into a hastily assembled task force at the White House. If they meant to communicate, they would have by now, he argued. "We need to prepare for hostile action." The president ordered a cautious approach. A single fighter squadron was dispatched to observe the vessel above New York, maintaining a safe distance. The pilots reported strange energy readings moments before all communications failed. On the ground, millions watched as the bottom of each alien ship opened, revealing a pulsing blue light. Then came the beams, 7 synchronized columns of energy striking the heart of each city. The devastation was immediate and catastrophic. Buildings crumbled into dust. Power grids failed across entire continents. In the chaotic first hours, governments struggled to respond. Their military forces disorganized and communications crippled. Tom Reed survived the initial attack, making his way to an underground command center outside Washington. Reports from around the world painted a grim picture. Conventional weapons, missiles, fighter jets, even nuclear warheads seemed ineffective against the alien vessel's shimmering shields. "We need to understand what they want," Tom insisted during the first emergency briefing. "There must be a reason they're here." The answer came from an unexpected source. Dr. Lisa Park, a geologist monitoring seismic activity, noticed unusual patterns beneath the attack sites. "They're not just destroying cities," she explained, pointing to her readings. "They're drilling. The energy beams continue deep into the Earth's crust, following our major freshwater aquifers." As the first day turned into night, smaller craft departed from the motherships. These scout vessels deployed what looked like massive pumping equipment around lakes, rivers, and ocean shorelines. "They're harvesting our water," Tom realized. "That's what they're after." Humanity's first real understanding of their enemy came with a chilling revelation. Earth was not being conquered, it was being mined. The aliens, which survivors would later call the Dominion, showed no interest in communication or negotiation. Humans were simply obstacles to resource extraction. By the end of the first week, resistance efforts began to coalesce. Military forces adapted, learning to avoid direct confrontation with the superior alien technology. Scientists studied debris from damaged scout ships, searching for weaknesses. Tom Reed worked tirelessly, coordinating between fragmented government agencies. "We need to hit their resource operations," he advised. "If they're here for water, we need to make extraction costly for them." As the aliens expanded their harvesting operations, humanity faced its greatest crisis. But in the ruins of fallen cities, the human spirit remained unbroken. The fight for Earth had only just begun. The underground lab hummed with activity as Dr. Jane Wilson carefully examined the alien technology recovered from a downed scout ship. Her team had been working around the clock for 2 weeks since military forces managed to bring down the vessel using concentrated artillery fire. A lucky shot that hit something critical. "The material composition is unlike anything we've seen," she explained to Tom Reed, who had arrived to check on their progress. "It's some kind of metal crystal hybrid that seems to rearrange its molecular structure when damaged." Tom nodded grimly. The situation above ground had worsened. 3 more major cities had fallen to the Dominion's harvesting operations. Earth's water supplies were being drained at an alarming rate, and conventional military responses continued to fail against the larger ships. "We need a breakthrough, Jane. Something we can use against their shields." "I think we might have found something," she replied, leading him to another workstation. "When we hit this material with specific electromagnetic frequencies, it becomes temporarily unstable." She demonstrated by aiming a modified radio transmitter at a small piece of alien hull. The shimmering material briefly flickered and turned dull gray. "If we can scale this up, we could punch through their defenses," Tom finished. Meanwhile, a stroke of luck arrived when a Special Forces team captured a living alien during an attack on a harvesting operation. The creature was humanoid but taller, with gray-blue skin and large, dark eyes. Military scientists housed it in a secure facility, attempting communication. Dr. Peter Green, a linguist, made the first breakthrough. "They communicate using both sounds and electromagnetic pulses," he reported. "We've managed to establish basic translation parameters." The creature, which they called Alpha, seemed surprised by human attempts at communication. Through rudimentary exchanges, a disturbing picture emerged. "They've been studying Earth for decades," Peter explained during a briefing. "They see us as primitive, barely more evolved than animals. They don't consider us intelligent enough to negotiate with." "What else have they revealed?" Tom asked. "Their civilization is vast, spanning hundreds of star systems. Their fleet here is just a small resource expedition. Water isn't plentiful where they come from, and Earth has more liquid water than most planets they've encountered." This news hit the command room like a physical blow. If this was just a small expedition, what would happen if the aliens called for reinforcements? Jane's team worked frantically to apply their findings about the alien shields. Engineers around the world modified existing weapons based on her specifications, creating devices that could generate the precise electromagnetic frequencies needed. Tom coordinated the first test attack on a harvesting site near the remains of Denver. 200 soldiers equipped with the modified weapons approached under cover of night. "Remember, short controlled bursts at the shield generators first," Tom instructed over the secure comm channel. "Once those are down, target their propulsion systems." The battle began just before dawn. The new weapons worked, not perfectly, but well enough. The alien shields flickered and failed under the concentrated electromagnetic assault. For the first time, human weapons penetrated the alien defenses. The victory, though small, spread hope through resistance channels worldwide. Jane's technology was quickly distributed to fighting forces on every continent. The aliens responded by intensifying their attacks, focusing on military installations and manufacturing facilities. They seemed to recognize the new threat humans posed. During one fierce battle, a resistance fighter recovered a damaged piece of alien technology containing what appeared to be navigational data. Jane's team worked day and night to decode it. "It's worse than we thought," she told Tom after finally breaking through the encryption. These aren't just random harvesting operations. They're preparing to build permanent facilities. Massive water processing plants designed to drain entire oceans. Tom studied the translated plans with growing horror. The Dominion wasn't just taking Earth's resources. They were planning to stay until nothing remained. "We need to take this to the United Defense Council immediately," he said. "This isn't just about survival anymore. It's about stopping them before they turn Earth into a desert." The Grand Meeting Hall of the former United Nations building now served as headquarters for the hastily formed Earth Defense Alliance. Leaders from countries once at odds now sat side by side, united by a common enemy. Russian generals shared notes with American admirals. Chinese scientists collaborated with European engineers. The alien threat had accomplished what decades of diplomacy could not: true global unity. Tom Reeves stood at the podium, presenting Jane's findings about the Dominion's permanent installation plans. If these facilities are completed, Earth will lose 60% of its surface water within a year. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Not just human civilization, but all life on Earth would be threatened. "We have one advantage," Tom continued. "Dr. Wilson's breakthrough with electromagnetic disruption. But we need to scale up production and coordinate our forces globally." Commander Alex Brown, a decorated naval officer who had led successful defenses in the South Pacific, spoke up. "We've been fighting defensively. It's time to take the fight to them." The first global strategy took shape over the next 3 days. Military factories worldwide shifted to producing Jane's electromagnetic pulse weapons, which soldiers had nicknamed flashers. Satellite communication networks were rebuilt using salvaged alien technology, allowing resistance forces to coordinate across continents. Jane worked with international scientists to improve the technology. "The aliens are already adapting," she warned during a late-night lab session. "Their newer ships have modified shields that resist our current frequencies." Her team discovered that rotating through specific frequency patterns prevented the aliens from adapting quickly enough. The modified weapons were more complex, but dramatically more effective. Alex Brown established training centers where soldiers from different countries learned to work together using the new weapons. "Forget your old tactics," he instructed them. "The Dominion fights like nothing we've faced before. We need to be unpredictable." The aliens continued their advance, but now met organized resistance. In Bangladesh, a combined Asian defense force successfully protected a major groundwater reserve. European fighters destroyed 3 harvesting operations in the Alps. Small victories accumulated, buying time for humanity. Then came the Battle of Lake Victoria, the first major test of the Earth Defense Alliance. The Dominion deployed 5 motherships to drain Africa's largest lake. EDA forces from 12 African nations, supported by international units, prepared to defend it. Alex Brown personally commanded the operation. "They expect us to protect the cities," he explained to his officers. "Instead, we'll concentrate our forces at the lake itself. Let them come to us." The battle began at dawn. Dominion ships descended through clouds of anti-aircraft fire. For the first time, human forces had the right weapons in sufficient numbers. The alien shields flickered and failed under coordinated electromagnetic attacks. Tom Reed monitored the battle from EDA headquarters. "They're changing formation," he noted as the alien vessels regrouped. "They're adapting." The Dominion ships shifted to a new attack pattern, focusing their energy weapons on EDA positions. Casualties mounted, but the human forces held their ground. Jane, watching the sensor feeds, spotted something crucial. Their ships still have to lower their shields momentarily when firing their main weapons. There's a 3-second vulnerability window. Alex immediately relayed new orders. "Target lock when they fire. All units, synchronize your attacks to those windows." The strategy worked. By sunset, 3 alien motherships had crashed into Lake Victoria. The remaining 2 retreated to orbit. Cheers erupted in command centers worldwide as news of the victory spread. For the first time, humanity had won a major engagement. But celebration turned to concern when orbital monitoring stations detected unusual activity. The Dominion motherships were regrouping. New, larger vessels emerged from hyperspace. "They're calling in reinforcements," Tom announced grimly as the images came in. "And they're deploying something new." The sensor readings showed massive structures beginning to take shape in Earth orbit. Construction platforms for the permanent harvesting facilities Jane had warned about. The war for Earth was entering a new phase. Humanity had proven it could fight back, but the Dominion was far from defeated. The war room buzzed with activity as Tom Reed outlined his plan. Maps and holographic displays showed Dominion harvesting operations scattered across the globe. After 3 months of defensive battles, it was time to strike back. "We can't match their firepower head-on," Tom explained to the assembled EDA commanders. "But we don't need to. What we need is to hit them where they're vulnerable, then disappear before they can respond." His strategy borrowed from guerrilla warfare tactics used throughout human history. Small, mobile strike teams would target the alien supply lines and smaller harvesting operations. The goal wasn't to win massive battles, but to make the cost of harvesting Earth's resources too high. "The Dominion operates like a corporation, not just an army," Tom continued. "Their leadership evaluates success based on resource acquisition versus expenditure. If we make Earth too costly to harvest, they might abandon the operation." Commander Alex Brown nodded in agreement. "My teams are ready. We've been training for exactly this kind of warfare." Meanwhile, in her laboratory beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Jane Wilson made another breakthrough. She'd been studying the aliens' communication systems recovered from downed ships. Their entire fleet operates on a shared network, she explained to Tom over a secure video call. "It's how they coordinate so effectively. But it's also a potential weakness." Jane had developed a computer virus specifically designed to infiltrate and disrupt the Dominion's communication grid. The challenge was delivering it to the main network. "We need to upload it directly to one of their command ships," she said. "Nothing less will penetrate their security." The opportunity came sooner than expected. Tom's guerrilla strategy was working. The Dominion had begun concentrating their forces to protect their remaining harvesting operations, leaving one of their command ships with minimal protection as it coordinated efforts from low orbit. A team of 12 volunteers, led by a former space program engineer named Mike, prepared for the most dangerous mission yet. Using a captured alien shuttle, they would approach the command ship disguised as a returning scout vessel. "The virus needs to be uploaded at the main communication hub," Jane briefed them. "Once inside, you'll have approximately 15 minutes before their security systems detect the intrusion." The mission launched under cover of a coordinated attack on a harvesting operation in the Amazon. As the Dominion focused on defending their ground forces, Mike's team approached the command ship, broadcasting captured alien identification codes. The tense moments as they waited for clearance seemed endless. Then, miraculously, the docking bay opened. "We're in," Mike whispered over the secure channel. Fighting broke out almost immediately. Despite their disguise, the team encountered alien guards inside the ship. They fought their way through narrow corridors, losing 3 members before reaching the communication hub. Jane's virus uploaded successfully, but the cost was high. Only 4 team members made it back to the shuttle, with Mike covering their retreat before falling to alien weapons fire. The effects of the virus spread quickly through the Dominion fleet. Their once coordinated attacks became disjointed. Ships lost contact with each other. Some fired on friendly vessels in confusion. On the ground, EDA forces seized the advantage. Alex Brown's team struck harvesting operations worldwide, destroying equipment and forcing the aliens to retreat. For the first time, humans reclaimed territory that had been under alien control. Tom studied the battle reports with cautious optimism. "They're pulling back to reorganize. We've hurt them, but they're not defeated." The biggest victory came unexpectedly. During an attack on a retreating alien force near Sydney, EDA fighters managed to disable but not destroy a medium-sized Dominion vessel. It crash-landed intact in the outback. "We've got a whole ship." Alex reported excitedly. Engines, weapons, navigation, everything. Jane immediately assembled a team to study the captured vessel. "This is what we've been waiting for," she told Tom. "With an intact ship, we can learn how they travel through space, maybe even how to follow them home." The Dominion responded to these setbacks by calling in more reinforcements, but humanity now had something it had lacked before. The captured Dominion vessel became the center of humanity's technological revolution. In a repurposed aircraft hangar in the Australian outback, Dr. Jane Wilson led hundreds of scientists from around the world in the most important reverse engineering project in history. "The propulsion system doesn't just bend space," Jane explained to Tom Reed during his inspection visit. "It creates a temporary corridor between 2 points. That's how they travel such vast distances without breaking the laws of physics as we understand them." Progress moved at an astonishing pace. Within weeks, engineers had adapted the alien technology to existing human spacecraft designs. The result was a hybrid vessel that combined Dominion propulsion with human weapon systems, Earth's first true space battleship. "We're calling it Defender," announced the project director as he unveiled the plans. "We can build 5 within 2 months using manufacturing facilities across 3 continents." While Jane's team worked on the technological front, Commander Alex Brown established a new training program for space combat pilots. Former Air Force pilots, naval aviators, and even civilian test pilots underwent intensive training using simulators built from alien interface technology. "Space combat is nothing like atmospheric flying," Alex told his recruits. "Forget everything you know about dogfighting. In space, there's no up or down, no air resistance, and no hiding behind clouds." The pilots trained relentlessly, learning to think in 3 dimensions and master the hybrid controls of the new vessels. Many struggled with the alien aspects of the technology, but a core group showed remarkable aptitude. Tom, meanwhile, had been studying the Dominion's battle tactics and communication patterns. During a late-night analysis session, he noticed something odd in the data from recent engagements. "All their tactical decisions flow from a single source," he explained to the EDA Council. "Despite our virus disrupting their communications, there's still a central command structure directing everything." Further analysis of the captured ship's navigational data revealed the location of what appeared to be the Dominion's command center, a massive vessel stationed just beyond Mars' orbit. "That's their weak point," Tom realized. "They operate like a hive mind. Take out the central command, and the entire fleet might collapse." The EDA Council debated the implications. Taking the fight to space meant committing their limited new resources to a single, high-risk operation. If it failed, Earth would be virtually defenseless. Before they could reach a decision, the Dominion launched a massive assault on the EDA headquarters in Geneva. Thousands of alien troops teleported directly into the complex, bypassing outer defenses. The attack seemed specifically targeted at the leadership. Tom barely escaped, organizing a desperate defense as he helped evacuate key personnel. Jane's research team was extracted just minutes before their laboratory was destroyed. "They know what we're building," Alex reported after the attack was finally repelled. "They're trying to cut off our head before we can strike back." The assault made the decision clear. Humanity couldn't win a prolonged war of attrition. Their only hope was to take the fight to the enemy with their new capabilities. Construction of the space fleet accelerated. Workers in shipyards around the world took shifts around the clock. Jane's team made final adjustments to the propulsion systems, while Alex's pilots completed their training. Tom developed the battle plan. The 5 Defender-class ships would approach from different vectors, using Mars to mask their approach. Their target was the Dominion command vessel, what they now call the Hive. "Once we disable their central command, their entire operation should fall into disarray," Tom explained. "Even if they don't retreat immediately, they'll lose the coordination that makes them so effective." 60 days after the capture of the alien vessel, humanity's first space fleet prepared for launch. The ships, named Defender, Courage, Hope, Unity, and Freedom, stood ready on 5 continents. Commander Alex Brown took personal command of the Defender. "This is not just a military mission," he told his crew during the final briefing. "This is humanity's statement to the stars. We will not be harvested. We will not be exterminated. We will fight." As the countdown began, people worldwide gathered around screens to watch the historic moment. The future of Earth rested on 5 ships and their crews, humanity's first line of defense among the stars. The red landscape of Mars filled the view screens as Earth's fleet maintained position in the shadow of the planet. Commander Alex Brown studied the tactical display, showing the Dominion vessels arranged in their standard formation around the massive hive ship. Nearly 200 alien vessels, each more advanced than anything humanity had built until recently. "All ships maintain communications blackout," Alex ordered quietly. "We wait for them to rotate to the far side of their patrol route." Inside the Defender's engine room, engineers monitored the hybrid propulsion systems with nervous attention. The technology was still not fully understood, prone to fluctuations and unexpected power surges. "Keeping stable at 65%, reported the chief engineer. "Any higher, and they might detect our energy signature." The 5 Earth ships had successfully made the journey from Earth to Mars using short jumps of the alien drive technology. Each jump had been a calculated risk, a test of Jane's understanding of the alien systems. On Earth, Tom Reed coordinated the ground forces preparing for their part of the operation. As the space battle commenced, ground troops would launch simultaneous attacks on harvesting operations worldwide, exploiting the expected confusion in the Dominion ranks. "The hive is rotating," reported a sensor officer on the bridge of Defender. "Patrol ships are following standard pattern." Alex took a deep breath. "All ships, prepare to execute attack pattern Alpha. Launch on my mark." The 5 Earth vessels powered up their engines to full capacity. The plan was simple but daring. Approach at maximum speed from multiple vectors, overwhelming the hive's defensive screen before it could coordinate a response. Mark. The ships accelerated from behind Mars, weapons charged and shields at maximum. The element of surprise worked for about 30 seconds. Then the Dominion patrol vessels broke formation, racing to intercept. "All ships, engage at will," Alex commanded. "Remember your targets." Space around Mars erupted in energy discharges as the battle began. The Earth ships were outnumbered 40-1, but their hybrid technology gave them advantages. The electromagnetic weapons developed by Jane's team proved effective against the alien shields, creating openings for conventional weapons to strike. The Courage took heavy damage within minutes, its port-side weapons array destroyed by concentrated fire from 3 Dominion cruisers. The Hope executed a daring maneuver, diving between 2 alien vessels and causing them to fire upon each other in their attempt to hit the nimble Earth ship. On the Defender, Alex directed his crew with calm precision. "Stay on course for the hive. Unity and freedom. Clear our path." The battle spread across 1,000,000 kilometers of space as Dominion reinforcements arrived from Earth orbit. The alien vessels moved with unnatural coordination, almost like extensions of a single mind. "They're adapting to our attack patterns," warned Alex's tactical officer. "Effectiveness of the EM weapons is decreasing." Jane had predicted this. The Dominion's technological adaptability was their greatest strength. But humanity had a counter-strategy. "Switch to frequency pattern Beta," Alex ordered. All 5 Earth ships immediately changed their electromagnetic weapon signatures, once again confusing the alien defense systems. The Freedom didn't survive the push to the hive. A direct hit to its engine core caused a catastrophic overload. The crew had just enough time to transmit their tactical data before the ship exploded in a blinding flash. "They didn't die for nothing," Alex told his shaken crew. "We're almost to the target." The remaining Earth ships formed a tight formation as they approached the hive. The massive command vessel bristled with weapon emplacements, its surface shifting like liquid metal as it prepared defenses. Meanwhile, on Earth, Tom's ground forces launched their coordinated assault. Reports flooded in from around the globe as human fighters engaged harvesting operations with renewed vigor. The Dominion forces are responding slower than usual, Tom reported to Alex via their secure quantum link. Your attack on the hive is working. They're losing coordination. As the space battle reached its critical phase, a small team led by Alex's second-in-command prepared for the most dangerous part of the mission, boarding the hive itself. Equipped with spacesuits modified with alien technology, they waited in the Defender's airlock. Remember, Alex told them, get to the central command node and plant Jane's disruption device. The future of Earth depends on it. The boarding party pushed through the alien airlock, magnetic boots anchoring them to the floor as they entered the massive hive ship. The interior was a maze of crystalline corridors bathed in bluish light. Unlike human vessels, everything appeared seamless, as if grown rather than built. Central Command should be 5 levels up, said Lieutenant Davis, consulting the holographic map based on data from the captured scout ship. Movement detected ahead. The team took cover as a patrol of 4 aliens approached. The Dominion soldiers were tall, their movements fluid and precise. The humans waited until they passed, then continued forward, weapons ready. Back in the space battle, Commander Alex Brown directed the remaining Earth ships in a desperate holding action. The Courage had been crippled, its crew evacuated to the Defender. The Unity and Defender maintained a protective screen around the hive's docking area, buying time for the boarding team. We can't hold them much longer, Alex's tactical officer warned. Our shields are below 30%. On Earth, Tom Reed received the updates with growing concern. The ground forces had made significant gains, reclaiming harvesting sites across 3 continents, but if the space mission failed, those victories would be temporary. Dr. Wilson, what's the status on the disruption device? Tom asked over the secure channel. Jane's voice came through filled with static. Final calibrations complete. If they can reach the central node, it will work. The disruption device represented humanity's ultimate weapon against the Dominion. A specialized electromagnetic pulse generator designed to overload the hive mind that coordinated the entire alien fleet. Jane had built it based on everything they'd learned about the aliens' shared consciousness. Inside the hive, the boarding team fought their way through increasingly heavy resistance. 3 team members had fallen, but the remaining 5 pushed on, finally reaching the central command chamber. The sight that greeted them was unlike anything in human experience. Instead of a traditional bridge, the chamber contained what appeared to be a massive brain-like structure, pulsing with energy and light. Hundreds of aliens stood in concentric circles around it, connected to the central node through glowing tendrils. That's their command structure, Davis whispered. The physical manifestation of their hive mind. The humans had one advantage. The aliens seemed so focused on their connection to the central node that they hadn't noticed the intruders. Davis signaled the team to spread out and place charges at the designated points Jane had identified. As the last charge was being placed, an alarm sounded. The aliens disconnected from the central node, turning toward the humans with weapons raised. Charges set, shouted Davis. Fall back. The team retreated under heavy fire, losing 2 more members before reaching the corridor. Davis activated the detonator, and the disruption device unleashed its specialized electromagnetic pulse. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The central node flickered, its energy patterns becoming chaotic. Throughout the hive, aliens collapsed, clutching their heads as their shared consciousness fractured. In space, Alex watched in amazement as the Dominion fleet suddenly lost cohesion. Ships drifted out of formation. Some collided with each other. The coordinated attack patterns disintegrated into chaos. It's working, he breathed. All vessels pressed the advantage. The remaining Earth ships launched a final assault, targeting the now vulnerable Dominion vessels. Without their central coordination, the aliens couldn't adapt to the humans' tactics. Davis and the last surviving team member managed to fight their way back to their shuttle, launching from the hive as explosions rippled across its surface. The battle turned decisively. Dominion ships began to retreat, jumping to faster than light speed in disarray. Within hours, the alien presence in the solar system had diminished by half. On Earth, Tom coordinated the final push to reclaim occupied territories. The Dominion ground forces, cut off from their command structure, put up disorganized resistance. 1 week later, the last alien harvesting operation was destroyed. Monitoring stations confirmed that the remaining Dominion ships had left the solar system entirely. In Geneva, at the partially rebuilt EDA headquarters, Tom, Alex, and Jane gathered with world leaders to discuss humanity's future. "They'll be back someday," Jane warned, "or something else will come. We need to be ready." The Earth Defense Alliance became permanent. The technology reverse-engineered from the Dominion would accelerate human development by centuries. Early warning systems were established throughout the solar system. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged stronger, more unified, and with its eyes firmly fixed on the stars, not just as a place of wonder, but as their rightful domain. Earth would never again be an easy target.